Wait, is this the same?
Is
this the same music that we use for the other show?
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. This is. I don't hear anything. Do you hear anything?
I can hear. I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you got to turn up the volume.
what happened here? Let's see.
And we're counting down too. 32 seconds
Second,
of
30.
almost dead air.
Yeah, hang on a second. I don't hear myself on my.
Welcome to
There-
Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar.
There we are. Okay, we had a little technical difficulty. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Kachmar. This is Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar. Today's date is our Lord's date of October 12th,
That's right.
2021. We have
The year of our Lord.
this is our first time live streaming. We're live streaming on
That's right.
YouTube, on Facebook,
Mhm.
Dr. Kachmar,
Twitch.
and Lifeguarding with Dr. Kachmar, which is our other channel, Twitch and Twitter,
Right.
and we're on Spotify.
Yeah, we are a podcast always for sound, not just for video. And
Right.
you can find us on
Right.
Spotify, Audible, iTunes, Yahoo, Google, everywhere podcasts go, you can find us.
But Jeremy, so tell them who you are, what we are, who's here in the. We have two guests today, so
Yeah,
How
I'm your
about-
old pal Jeremy. Everybody knows me, and we are live today, October 12th, in the year of our Lord, 2021. And we got some guests. We got Tyler, and we got Sean, two incredible lifeguards at Seaside Heights Beach Patrol. Yeah, you want to say hi, guys?
who wants to talk
Hello.
first?
You can go ahead, Sean.
Sean.
Introduce yourself.
My name's Sean. We're on Kachmar's other show,
Lifeguarding.
Lifeguarding.
Lifeguarding with Dr. Michael. We don't know anything about medicine.
Yeah,
No,
I
no,
don't know
no.
anything.
That's all right. That's all right. We're
We
gonna
definitely
teach
don't
you.
belong.
That's
here.
all right. Neither do I,
so-
really. And I've been doing it. I've been doing it for 5 years.
yeah. So anyway, so let's Jeremy, can you give him the info?
Yeah. So what's the phone number?
732. No, we'll just give him the office number. If any, for this is for the local people who are listening to us on our Facebook. So we're coming out of Toms River, New Jersey. We're in the middle of the state. The phone number here for my office, and this today's show is Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar. I'm a board certified reconstructive foot and ankle surgeon.
Mhm.
Phone number 732-269-1133.
That's right.
That's 269-1133.
Mhm.
And you want to go to our webpage, Jeremy? You want to give them the
Yeah,
webpage
Jersey
information?
Shore Foot and Leg Center.com is our website. Sometimes we talk about some great products you can get, vitamins and such. You can find all about that on our website. Somewhere on the top menu bar, you can click on what's it called? Nutrimetrics?
Nutrimetrics.
Yeah.
And
And
thanks for preparing for the show, by the way.
yeah, I know. I've been doing this for ages and I still don't know what the hell I'm saying.
no.
Yeah.
We have a lot of vitamin products there.
Yeah.
So, but
they're all vetted and they're all products
Right,
that Dr.
right.
Kachmar himself has approved.
Right. So let's start the show today. We're going to talk this show. We're going to do an hour show with medical. We're going to take a break, and then we're actually going to have another show which is dedicated to lifeguarding. That's why we have our two guests.
That's right.
They work on the beach with me. A lot of people who have been following me on Facebook know that I wear a couple different hats, and the one hat that I do wear is a doctor. The other one is lifeguarding, and I lifeguard. I'm a lieutenant in the Seaside Heights Beach Patrol. So we have a lot of
We got 3
stories.
lifesavers right here in our room.
So,
Yeah.
so what we want to do, right now we want to talk about a couple things about the
Mhm.
corona, and if
I
anybody
have a medical question.
sure, yeah.
Do you do knees?
No, I only go up to we take
Below
care.
knee.
Do you know a good
Below
knee
knees.
guy?
Oh,
He
yeah, yeah,
started
yeah,
at the
yeah,
feet,
yeah.
worked his way
Way
up, gave up
right,
at knees.
Right.
Yeah.
We know a lot of knee guys.
You might need
So,
to take a look at my ankles.
yeah, well, we got somebody who can take care of that.
Yeah,
So anyway, so what we want to talk about today is a couple things that are in the news. We always like to be topical.
Oh, that's right.
And but I want to go to the CDC tracker right now. So we always look at that, and I have it right here. Let me just pull it up here. So so what we're at right now in the United States, and this is today right out of the CDC.org or .gov. So right now, fully vaccinated in the United States. This is interesting statistic. Fully vaccinated are 216 million people. 216. Now, I'll ask the question, Jeremy.
Yeah.
I asked you this before, and you should understand how many people are in the United States.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Don't use-
I
don't use the Lord's name in vain.
331 million.
Okay, good. Last time you said 3
There we
billion.
Are we gonna fact check that, or are we just gonna take his word for it?
It
Now,
actually is true. It actually is true.
But here's the interesting thing. If you look at they tweak out here, population over 65 in
Yeah.
the United States, which is about that amount of people who are fully vaccinated are 51 million, which is 95% of the people over 65. Population over 18, 78%.
Mhm.
Population over 12, 76. So really, everybody who could probably get vaccinated got vaccinated. So I don't know why they need these damn mandates.
Well, it was either that or their job.
Well,
let's go
but let
on.
me go back to the other thing is right. And here's another interesting statistic, which I just got my booster this morning.
Yeah.
7.79 million people got boosters already. And so here's the thing. If you take say the population is 350 million, and you're saying about 216 million are fully vaccinated, and that's not counting how many people got the virus, right? I mean, and are still living.
Yeah.
Because I think they came out with a statistic, maybe 60 million got the virus. Out of that, 700,000 died.
Mhm.
That's about maybe the number. So we've reached herd immunity. That's my point. We've reached herd immunity, which means, do we need mandates? Do we really need mandates? And on top of that, I just Googled on a CDC webpage trying to see or ask the question: if you had corona and you have antibodies, natural antibodies, natural immunity, do you need to get the vaccine? And I can't find that anywhere.
No.
It's funny how it's just not existing.
No, it's wiped.
I mean, there's plenty of statistics to show you how many people who had the corona vaccine had breakthrough infections. So I don't know where it's going. I can just say that, and we're going to talk, which dovetails us into this thing with mandates, because we've been talking about mandates for a long time right now.
Yeah.
And Southwestern Airlines, they're having a big slowdown. Now, the president of the airline says, "Oh, it had nothing to do with the mandates. It's weather, it's this, it's that."
Someone explain that to me. What went down there?
Well,
Jeremy, explain.
they're taking the flight attendants and the pilots even are taking it into their own hands, because they're just
They just don't want to get vaccinated.
Well, they don't want to. They don't want their jobs threatened to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
So now they're going on strike mid-flight, and showing how much control they have, because you push people only so far.
How do you go on strike mid-flight though?
You just you tell people we're not serving food, and we're not
they're just like, stop flying.
We're gonna land. We're doing an ocean
We're
landing.
just not gonna land. We're just gonna keep flying in circles.
No, but isn't that an extension of this? Aren't the pilots threatening to not actually fly? If they don't have
Yeah,
to?
yeah.
As long as they don't do that strike when they're in the air.
No, I don't think they can.
That would be
they're just suiting up their parachutes. Take care,
Later, guys.
everybody.
Yeah, they decompress the plane. What I've heard too is that it's more. First of all, the president of the airline saying that that's not the case. That there's not it's not having to do with mandates.
Of course, he is.
But the other side of the coin is I also read a couple places where it's more technical. Pilots supposedly can't even have an aspirin or a Tylenol or like an antihistamine before a flight. It's very, very regulated. And so what I'm hearing is that some of the pilots are concerned that if they get this vaccine and there's some kind of reaction or something, they may not be able to fly.
Well, like what kind of reaction?
Oh, people this right now, there's about, I don't know how many people who died from the vaccine. They're saying that.
How many people die from other vaccines though?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter though. The pilots you're asking me what else is going on with the pilots.
Yeah.
No other vaccines are being forced.
Right. No, in other words, the pilots, you're asking me why they doing it is the mandate. I think it's the other side. What I read, I'm just telling you what I read is that they're saying, well, I'm a pilot. I'm a little concerned about getting the vaccine because it may jeopardize my job. So there's, listen, I think where the big argument is in this country, and it's going to continue to be, is the two places. One is if you had the virus and you got antibodies, do you really need a vaccine? And I can tell you, I've always been taught in school, and I'm a doctor, is that active immunity from the virus itself is the best. The other thing is, where there's going to be another bone of contention, is should these kids get it? Should an infant get it? Should a 2-year-old get it?
No, they should not.
And well, they're mandated. They might mandate it.
Yeah.
They're talking.
Yeah, but the mandates, they're backup to justify the mandates is they want to put the vaccinated against the unvaccinated. So they're saying, even if you got vaccinated, the unvaccinated will infect you.
Right.
So what sense does that make?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So you want me to get this vaccine that's going to protect me from the virus, but I can still get the virus from people who aren't
Well,
vaccinated?
you don't.
And the
That's-
effects are less than actually not getting the vaccine. But the whole point is they're just like concerned about people spreading it.
You don't even
But if-
need.
But
to be
here's the
fully
thing. Here's
vaccinated
the
to
thing
get
that
any
you guys
place in
might
New
not
York, just need
know.
one.
It's spreadable by animals. We can get it from the animals. It's in the animal reservoir. So you got a raccoon in your yard or anything like that, you could catch it from that, or your cats that are running loose. You can catch them from that. So it doesn't matter how many people get vaccinated, the animals can still spread it. So
Well, they can spread a new one. It's an animal reservoir. And that gets into a real complicated
it does.
discussion. But here's the thing. The vaccine, we talked about this on other shows. The virus will mutate. That's normal. Let's just look at history. Let's just stop, go crazy with all this animals and all this. There, you go back in history, and it's well studied. The influenza virus of 1918. Okay, they estimated between 20 and 50 million people died. All right, there was no vaccines back then. They did actually have some, you call it vaccines, but it was bacteria. But it ran through the population, and where is it today? Everybody has some remnants of that virus, and it's still around,
right.
but it's not virulent. Why? Why? And so you could study, and I studied virology. It gets complicated.
Yeah.
But usually what it'll run its course. Why isn't the plague around? There's been multiple pandemics and plagues over the years. So this will run its course. This will run its course.
Since you brought that up, what's curious is, even though we live in this age of information, right? We have just about as much information about the coronavirus as they did back in Black Plague. Times. I mean, like there was no communication, but nobody knew anything about it. And they made the best way they could. But today we still don't know anything about this.
Well, we know
not on a very great scale. We don't
know where it came from. Like,
we don't know. We barely know anything about.
I think we might.
Yeah.
Where'd it come from, Sean?
They're saying bats, and they're not stopping saying bats. But
well, was the bat in the lab? Was the bat like strapped down to a chair? Like it tortured and
No. I watched a documentary last week called "What Really Happened in Wuhan." All right. And they have a viral.
They made a Fauci movie.
Oh, but that's a bunch of lies.
On Rotten Tomatoes,
yeah,
they stopped allowing audiences to score it because it was scoring like a 4%, and they had the credit scoring it at like 91.
And that's from National Geographic. That's like you figured, oh well, that's got to be good, right? But politics rule all. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, I've been
so
watching.
Obvious now too.
I watched the War Room with Steve Bannon, and he's got like over 100 million downloads. It's an amazing podcast. They have a YouTube. I don't know if they're not on YouTube, but they're on the John Frederick radio show, which I listen to. And they've been Peter Navarro, who's really, I think, is a brilliant individual. They've been banging it, about this Wuhan virus for a long time. I don't see a big opposition now to the idea that it came from the lab. It doesn't seem to be now where if you say that, you get locked up.
In this documentary I watched, they were talking about the viral lab that's in Wuhan, China, and one particular scientist who was going into the hills of Wuhan collecting bats. Now, coronavirus is a virus that occurs in the bat population, and on its own, we cannot contract. It had to be manipulated so humans can contract the virus, and that's what happened. There's no other way. There's no other way to explain it.
That's the video. That's what the documentary talked about.
Yeah. And they were talking. What it's called. You can get it on YouTube. It's called Sky News Australia did it. They talked to Trump. They talked to his secretary, whatever. It's called "What Really Happened in Wuhan."
You're looking it up, Tyler. Tyler's looking it up while we speak. So
well, no, it'll blow your mind.
Yeah. Listen, if that was the case, then you got to be careful. I mean, but the government. Then you make the allegation. The next step is, well, was it planned? Was it a mistake? I remember reading multiple articles that when this first came out, that China didn't stop the flow of people coming to New York City, going all around the world.
they wouldn't.
And they knew about it. So,
Yeah.
so my big question is, let's go back. You know, they
Well,
knew.
and didn't they like?
They knew about this thing. I keep on going, Sean. They knew about it.
I just remember people making a huge deal about President Trump trying to shut down travel right away.
Yeah.
Calling him xenophobic.
Listen, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, that just, you know, it was obviously the right decision.
It was the
at
right
that time
decision,
to do
yeah.
that. But
Pelosi,
the whole time, what I kept saying to myself, why are planes flying? Why are planes still flying from there to America? Why aren't we stopping this when we know? And even when the Delta variant was rearing its ugly head in India, and it was killing thousands of people, so many that their ritual to burn is to burn a body almost immediately, their loved ones. They had a wood shortage. They couldn't do it. And so these people were throwing their loved ones into the Ganges River. Now, the Ganges River is a spiritual river to these people. They wash in it. They do their laundry in it. They pray. And it's the second largest religious gathering once a year.
Isn't the river pretty gross?
It's pretty gross now. Sure. There's thousands of bodies still. I mean, I mean,
before then.
Yeah, it was pretty, you know, I mean, they're bathing in it. What are you going to do? But the thing is, though, it was killing thousands of people.
Wow.
And while it was doing that, the planes were still flying.
Yeah.
And that does not make sense to me. Like, where is the thought there? Where is our government? Where are their priorities when something like that is clearly being reported by foreign news
right.
channels?
But what you got to remember too, again, you got to look at the progression because unfortunately or fortunately, this happened during a political election cycle.
Well, I mean, it feels like we're always in an election cycle.
No, this was right on it. So, and also they didn't like Trump. So here's the deal. You know, they villainized.
They didn't like the Orange Man.
No. So if the Orange Man said, if the Orange Man said the sun's coming up tomorrow, they would have said, no way, you're full of shit. It's not going to happen. You got to remember, they were saying we had lockdowns here. At one time, the left was against the lockdowns, and then they were for it. But they were saying, people were saying, look at India. Why don't we do what they're doing? And they have no problems. And then all of a sudden they had a huge problem. You know, they had this outbreak. So I think that, you know, getting back to this whole thing about, you know, where it came from, how it progressed, I think that we know we don't know.
There you go.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. You could have, we know where we
somebody
don't know.
else is getting responsibility of that if you're not going to keep up with it.
We know we don't know. We know we don't know. Hey, listen, you think I didn't have the recorder on? So about 5 minutes of the
Wait,
podcast.
is it on? Is it
Now it's
green
recording.
recording?
No, red is recording.
Are you sure?
Red is recording.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
I told you this is going to be, you know, I'm going to make sure we hit that
Red
button,
for
right?
recording.
Right. So I think that, you know, to end this discussion, we don't know where it came from. I don't know if they do, like you're saying. I think that time will tell to a high degree of level where it came from, what went down, did we do the best thing? Because a lot of times you have to look in you know, retrospectively. I could tell you one thing that I think is terrible that happened in this state and in New York, because we live here, and in New Jersey, is this thing where all these people died in nursing homes. And I am on staff at the hospitals, and there was the health director in New Jersey through the governor, because it was an emergency now. This was declared emergency when the executive branch declares emergency, the president of the United States or the governor, they have powers that are not normally in their wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And they mandated the hospital to send patients who had corona back to the nursing home. And they mandated the nursing homes to take the patients. And they had some of the worst deaths in these nursing homes, especially the VA.
That's something that actually really pisses me off.
Right. So
there's not that many things that have happened over the past 18 months that actually get me like incensed. But what are you doing?
So listen,
like sending the most vulnerable people back to go infect the people we're trying to protect here.
Well, listen why they did it. I'll tell you, because I'm glad that you're pissed off, because this is not ended and we shouldn't let it end. Here's the deal. There's actually a federal mandate or federal rule or whatever, when it really gets bad, and this is in the CDC, you could what's the word I want to use? ration medicine.
Is
Remember
that
we talked
martial
about-
law you're talking
Well,
about?
we didn't have martial law, but we were in a state of emergency. The United
Small
States,
jump away from it.
right? We were small. We had state of emergency, and you have a medical state of emergency still in New Jersey. So what that means is the executive branch, the governor or president, has sweeping powers. When you say that you get upset, here's what I think went down. And it could be. Listen, I'm not saying these people were bad. Good people could have done bad things, not bad things, but made a decision based on information they had at the time that they thought was reasonable, and then it turned out not to be. But what they were concerned about was they needed beds. They got to have these people get out of the hospital. You had these seniors, they were getting better, they still had corona. Where are you going to send them? They could have opened up the hospitals. They had plenty of room. They could have sent them to New York City, to the ship that Trump put out there. They could have put him in the
that big ship that came.
What's the
that was when things were starting to get scary.
No, but there was
Yeah,
also,
but they never used it.
No, they never
I know,
used it.
but you see a headline, ship
right,
doctor in New York City
But
because there's not enough room in the hospitals.
But let me finish this thought. There was a big marine. What's the Brendan Byrne? What's the
Brendan Byrne Arena?
Yeah, no, not the one in New York City. It's a
Giant stadium.
Javits?
No, Javits Center.
Javits.
They converted Javits Center
I
into.
stabbed the dark with that one.
They
Right,
did the Javits Center, Jeremy. They did the Javits Center. They had the military in there.
Yeah.
They didn't send one of these nursing home patients. Now, what happened is the governor of New Jersey last July, not this July, last July, spent approximately $500 million. Let me repeat that. $500 million to do a study of why people died in nursing homes. Now, it was a company that was aligned with Barack Obama. Just want to let you know, his buddies. And they came out. You know what the results were?
What?
The governor didn't cause any problems. It was understaffing at the nursing homes, and blah, blah, blah.
Joke.
So, and I didn't.
It's such a. They don't take nobody takes responsibility. I'm trying not to curse right now.
Yeah, don't curse.
Nobody takes response. Like, I get that when you're in a political position of power, you're making decisions that affect people on the scale of thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions. But
also being a politician can be a lifetime career. So if you mess it up or you take fault and people see you as like being worse at your job than you are, you're not going to get reelected.
Yeah, that's true. And
So
what
sad.
you were saying, Mike, was it sounds great. Like maybe they didn't have the information, or they didn't know what to do the right thing. But that's in a perfect world where there aren't political agendas, and unfortunately there were. So that's hard to hard to flesh out.
Right. So we said this before. I don't know what was in Cuomo's heart. I don't know what
Was he the ass grabber, by the way?
Let's not go down there. But here's the thing, though. But
Who is that?
our
Hey,
governor-
Really, who isn't at this point?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
That's so.
Yeah.
Well, did they do that? Did they send those people to nursing homes to hurt Trump politically, or did they do it because they thought they were doing the best thing? I don't know if we'll ever know that. And I'm not going to make the argument. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and said they were trying to do the best they could on the information that they had. And this is where it went down. It's unfortunate. Now, again, do I know that for 100% sure? No, but I don't know if you ever know, because it was like you said, you were very astute on that. It's a political nightmare.
Yeah.
Same thing with this thing from Wuhan. Was Fauci involved in it? The allegations, you got the one senator, Rand Paul, he's basically called him a liar and said, hey, you caused this. You were doing gain of function. And,
there's a lot of shady speculation when it comes to the gain of function.
And
So that documentary that Tyler brought up earlier about Fauci, it's right in like the subtitle, the man who was there for AIDS to SARS to ongoing with COVID. He's had his toe in everything.
It was controversial about AIDS too, because I was a young doctor at that time. I don't think
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did he push AZT or AD or whatever that drug was that was killing people?
Well, here's what he did. I remember, and again, my memory.
I didn't know that AZT was killing people.
Dallas Buyers Club.
Yeah, it's the only reason I know what AZT is.
Right.
Oh wow,
I'm quoting him.
No, man. It's interesting.
Again, we're not the medical advice portion of the show.
Yeah.
No, when AIDS came out, there was no way to test it. We had an idea that there was something in the blood. And I remember I was a externship at the VA, and I was telling the attendings, I read a couple of articles saying if you're going to give a transfusion, make sure the patient needs it because it could be tainted. There was no way to test it. Anyway, the controversy came out with Fauci's that they came out with a testing protocol, and he delayed it. This was the allegation by 6 months, so he could get his buddies hooked up and get the patent and all of that. So so the allegation was they had a way to test the blood 6 months before they pushed it out, which could have saved hundreds of people or thousands of people. I don't know. That was the allegation. And then he got cleared. They had congressional hearings and everything like that. So
that was a scary time back when AIDS came. I remember. Remember Greg Louganis in the Olympics? He cracked his head when he was diving.
Oh yeah,
and there was like a drop of blood in the water, and he was like panicking. Hey, we have to empty this pool.
Plus, just so you know, he was known that he was gay, right?
Yeah, he knew he was gay.
I think I don't know if it. Yeah.
I don't know if it was open at that point.
So if you were gay, and and like we didn't know. I had to treat patients who had AIDS. I'll tell you how scary it was. You get AIDS, you died. It's not like
now like you get AIDS and
you barely
can, like,
hear about it anymore.
No, you can
There's
basically still have
There's
unprotected sex. Like you literally can't transmit it if you treat it correctly.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy and I never had unprotected sex. So
we haven't.
So here,
same.
Just saying.
Yeah.
But
we're just friends.
We're just friends.
Yeah.
But the AIDS, we're just friends. The AIDS was a bad one, and I had to operate on people. And when you cut yourself or something, you were like, ooh, But now we found out that if you had AIDS, and if you had Tyler, if you had AIDS, and I hit you over the head with a hatchet, and blood splattered all over the place,
like you do,
it'd be pandemonium.
No, you wouldn't pass it. It's as soon as it hits the air, it's dead.
I know, but back then, if that had happened, people would probably be losing their
I
minds.
remember.
So we didn't know. We did toilet bowls. We didn't know.
I remember sitting in health class
we didn't
watching
know.
a video from the Surgeon General telling us that you won't catch. They actually thought masturbation you could get AIDS from. Just masturbating, you'll get AIDS.
Who told you that? That's probably what.
No, because that Surgeon General.
That was the rumor in
That
high
Surgeon
school.
General. That Surgeon General video I watched is the Surgeon General telling us, don't worry. Because I know the kid next to me, I slapped him on the back and I said, see, Don, all that worrying and for nothing.
Wow. All those poor kids walking around. All those 15-year-olds walking around.
I mean, they
With
scared me.
erections.
They scared me when I was in like 4th grade.
Yeah.
They're like, you might not even know you have it for 7 years, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's that. Well, I'll put my analyst on danger money.
Well, we could save it for the lifeguard show, but I remember one of the lifeguards on the beach patrol. He was dating all kinds of girls. He was a good-looking guy, and he's every week he was kind of like hooking up with another girl. And then all of a sudden, one girl told him that she was exposed to somebody who had AIDS, and I don't think she really had it, but that was it. They told him, you got it. It could be a year.
Right.
He wouldn't even look at a girl. I mean, I remember girls. We used to send. You say, that guy really likes you, and they'd go. And they would go talk to him, and he'd be like, and they were like, "What's wrong with him?" I go, he just,
Please correct me if I'm wrong. Is it hard to contract HIV through heterosexual sex?
Well, here's the thing. We got to be careful how we say that. But from a medical standpoint, it depends on what you consider
penis in vagina.
Very hard. If not for the woman could get it. It's in semen. So now again, I haven't studied this for a while, but I actually when this was coming out, I was in infectious disease rotation. So what I remember is that the virus is very weak. If it gets exposed to the air, it's done. Man can pass it on a lot easier because the semen. Women, if they had AIDS, it'd be a little bit difficult. But the real, the really high transmission level was anal. So penis to the anus, and that was I know, but we don't want to laugh because that's I don't want to
feel like we're in like 5th grade health class. Right?
Well, but this is it's
parents
anal
send your
sex.
kids out of the room.
So if you're a guy, nowadays I don't even I'm thinking about this.
So
if you're a guy,
it's blood. It's blood that's most
penis,
likely to transfer through.
Yes, and it's got to be blood. It has to be really blood to blood without it really going into the air and the environment. So
but we thought it was like any bodily fluids. like spit or anything, saliva. If
No.
you drank from somebody else's glass, you could get AIDS. That's what we
That's
thought.
that's how you
here's
get herpes.
Here's another here's another thing. Now with the, it depends on what the viral count is, and also there's, I think now, I don't know what the percentage is, but there's about 15% of the population is immune to AIDS. They have
Immune?
like, their
Immune?
Like a natural
yeah,
immunity.
their T cells won't accept the virus.
How's this
how does that
possible?
come about? Yeah.
It's just genetics. And
And
actually,
is this for the same reason why we don't
some people
deal with the Black Plague anymore as being like a huge deal?
no. But also with Corona, there might be people who have natural immunity. They just don't. They don't.
Well, I'll
they
tell
don't
you what,
get it.
my aunt had it. He stayed with her entire time. Got tested, didn't have
Never
it, didn't have antibodies,
Yeah.
never got it.
Couples had to make a choice.
And they slept in the same bed. They didn't change anything.
Right. They'll come out. There'll be a day where it'll say 10%, 15% of the population is immune to the virus. There's one man supposedly is completely cured from AIDS, and how that happened is he had leukemia. So what they did is they put me here. They
There
put
you
me,
go.
well, you could put on the other person. You could watch. It's good.
That's why I changed it to scrubbing up, because we don't know who that.
So you could. The guy had a leukemia. So what they did is they
Wait.
took-
He got cured of AIDS.
No, he had it.
Yet
listen,
has
listen,
leukemia.
listen.
Is this
he
what?
had? He had AIDS, and then he developed leukemia. Okay, follow me.
Mhm.
Not from the AIDS, just developed it. And
Unlucky,
so
man.
now he has, right. So what they did is they gave him radiation. They whacked his bone marrow, and so now he's wiped out. So then they got but he still has some probably in his body, the virus somewhere. But when you hit the with radiation chemo, it kills all your blood cells, so everything is dead. But there's still virus in your it could be in your cells.
So
somewhere.
the chemo killed the
Most
AIDS.
of all his it didn't kill all the AIDS. There's still AIDS left in his body,
Right.
not in his blood though. When you get the chemo, so then what they do is they give you a blood transfusion. They give you a bone marrow transfusion.
Mm.
Okay, but they got it from a guy who his T cells are immune to the AIDS virus. So now he's got a reconstituted blood. Now, reconstituted the bone marrow, which makes your blood.
Yeah.
So the blood he makes now, the T cells that are in that will not be susceptible to any virus that's still in his body. So theoretically, he's cured.
Oh, wow.
How do you like that?
But is he
Wow.
a carrier?
Can he spread?
Why do you ask me questions like that?
Because you're a doctor.
yeah.
Come
Yeah,
on.
because then he wouldn't be cured.
He'd
He'd be dormant.
He may have it. Well, it could be in his blood, but will it will
well,
sit
semen.
there?
Like semen's the most obvious transfer for AIDS.
Right.
So if he's all clear,
I
and
think
he's
no.
still
I think
spreading it.
it's an interesting question because it stays on the T cells. So maybe there's T cells. I don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
That's a little bit out of my wheelhouse, but it certainly could be.
Anybody who knows, please comment down below, wherever down below may be.
Well, I don't know if I can see it up there. Put it on chats. Put it on chats. Can you put it on chats?
Yeah.
See if anybody's chatting with us. We didn't even look. Do we have any?
Wow! Yay!
Oh,
Lori Bergen.
You talk about me. You talk about me over here, not So
Hey,
sorry,
hey,
Lori.
hey,
So
all
how many-
you have is
we
4
have
buttons.
friends.
All right.
How many people? How many
We
chats?
got
do we have?
Lori Bergen. Sorry, Lori. I had the chat switched off. She says, "Hey, Doc Jeremy. Are you going to call me Dr. Jeremy? I like that. Do you do vascular surgery? I have 5 blood clots in legs and 3 surgery. Doctor won't do."
That's a
They
question for you,
say
Catch.
It's too risky. That's a run-on sentence. They say people with blood clots can't get the vaccine.
Huh.
It's a good question. First of all, I don't do the vascular surgery. We have doctors who I refer to.
Yeah.
We have tons of them, and that's a good question. Whether or not who could get the vaccine from a medical standpoint. I read that transplant patients. There's arguments, and I haven't looked at that lately, but I know several people who have kidney transplant, heart transplant, and they are told not to get the vaccine. It's pretty interesting. So we really don't know. So answer the question. So my doc, do you vascular? No. So we don't do the vascular surgery. I don't do the vascular surgery, but it's tough. And I can't answer the question, Lori, about whether or not, that precludes you from getting it.
But hey, great question. Maybe just for
Thank
another
you.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we
Not
have
this one.
Is any others there? No. Yeah.
But no. Anybody else want to, join in on our conversation? The chat is open. Please, now that I'm paying attention to it, we'll get them answered.
Just to let everybody know, this is our first time.
Yeah.
If you see this, if not live, if you see this archived, this is our first live show.
This is like the inaugural revamp of Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar.
We should have called it a test video, because we're going to go back now and look at all our platforms and look at the camera angles, look at the quality.
But this has been a good show so far, right, guys?
So we'll see how everything looks.
I'd say so.
So this is a test thing.
Hey, let's make sure you get Miss Bergen in contact with doctors.
Yeah.
Send her a message.
Yeah. We'll tell her there's we've had her on the show before, and she's a what do you call it? A constant in our show. So we always try to give her right information and tell her which way to go.
Thanks for the good questions, Lori.
Yes.
We appreciate you.
Yeah. But just so everybody know, especially on our podcast, when you get this part of the beginning is cut off. So we have so many good podcasts. So, but hopefully the rest of this is really good. So anyway, what I want to just touch, you wanted to talk about a couple things. Was something? Yeah. So let's throw it over to Jeremy. Jeremy, what did you want to talk about medicine wise?
I heard on the news recently, actually I was on Tucker Carlson the other night.
Oh, he invited you on?
Yeah, he did. He did.
I didn't know. I didn't see you there.
I know him so well.
Did you see that?
I call him Tuck.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And what did he say to you?
Was
he kicking you underneath the table when you're saying inappropriate stuff?
Yeah, you always.
I can't do that now.
I can't tell the difference between kicking and playing footsie. So yeah, Tucker was saying that something that really shocked me, in fact, that Congress was exempt from the vaccine mandates. Yeah,
he's funny.
How does that make sense? You say now they at right off the bat they're blaming President Biden. Like, why would you do that? This is a conspiracy. But actually, what it is that because I did the research, and Congress has powers that go beyond the president, so they're untouchable for a lot of things. So the president can say whatever he likes. Mm-hmm. Congress doesn't have to listen. So that was interesting,
Well, what you're saying there, just so you know, you got the three branches of government. The executive branch is it's not the king, so you could have a presidential executive order, Biden's doing them, Trump's doing them or did them, and so Barack Obama. But there are certain things that only the law, when they make law, that's that. And here's the thing: a executive order is only as good as that president is in there. Once he's out, the new president could get rid of all the executive orders.
And we learned that as soon as Biden came in and erased everything Trump did.
Except though, with Trump tried to get rid of the Dreamer, executive order that Barack Obama did, and it didn't happen, which is interesting. But having said that, but Congress makes laws. So, Congress would have to pass a law, probably, mandating that they're immune or not. What's interesting is that when they came out with Barack Obamacare and the mandate, remember all of that? They were excluded from that. And they made sure that they voted that they didn't have to follow that.
Right.
And so this is probably the similar thing. But what else? What did you want to say more about that? So it's really not. It's not. It's not
Biden.
He doesn't have the power.
Yeah, because at first when you listen to the show, the Tucker Carlson show, I was shocked. My jaw dropped, and I was thinking, oh, this is like one rule for the rulers, one rule for the ruled, and I hate that stuff. I hate that.
But
but it turns out it wasn't.
Yeah.
I have a question for you three though. There's a big problem with supply boats out there. Bringing in new supplies small businesses are going under because they can't get the stock. All these boats, they've been sitting out there for months. Have you seen any? Because you guys are.
Yeah, I think I've seen a map of all the boats around the coast, like how then they can't go anywhere and they don't.
Yeah,
run out of gas.
Can you see anything from the beach? Just some giant boats that have just been sitting out, or ships that have been sitting out there for a long time.
Not
No,
more than usual.
no more than
Not that
usual.
I've noticed, but why are they? They're just
Because
floating out
there's
there?
no workers to unload the boats.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So Biden.
So is there just like
And
stuff like
Biden's
going
answer
bad
to
on those
this,
boats?
Biden's
Yeah,
answer
sitting.
to this was, yeah, there's hundreds of boats out there just sitting,
Sorry.
and they've been
Just give the
sitting
people
for
more unemployment money. That'll
for every.
solve everything.
But it's all food. It's all like Amazon. Don't expect your Amazon packages over a spell to be coming second day or third or fourth or fifth. It might be taking a couple of weeks, depending upon how fast they can get stuff unloaded.
Yeah.
There is nobody working at the docks. Because of COVID, everybody's scared off, or these mandates. Everybody was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
well, screw you. I'm not gonna get the vaccine."
Crazy thing about those mandates. One, in New York, you don't even need to be fully vaccinated to get into places. You just have to have one shot.
Yeah.
So, whatever. But two, they're not even checking these identification cards.
No.
The amount of people I saw walk through with like pieces of paper that were printed and copied and whited out, and they're all they're doing is checking a name on an ID, checking a name on a vaccination card, and then moving people along. It's doing nothing. It's all about compliance. I think people should get vaccinated.
No.
I think we should take this seriously. That's like where I start drawing the
that's
line.
where that's where I am.
Off.
That's where I am. Like if we're gonna have mandates, fine, let's have mandates, but then let's follow them. If we're not gonna have mandates, then let's not have mandates. Last month, I went to a Board of Education meeting to speak out against the Board of Education about masks on kids and the mandates for the vaccines. Yes, I am a domestic terrorist, and but what I noticed was they had a policeman at the door when you came in.
Yeah,
the police over. We got to wear a mask. You got to wear a mask. So all right. So I grabbed a couple, and they were the crappiest masks. I went through 3 of them, and they kept breaking on my ear.
I'll put a mask on.
But and I'm cool with that too. Yeah. You want me to wear a mask? It's your establishment. I'll respect you, and I'll wear a mask.
Absolutely.
But as soon as you go in to a place, the first thing I do is I look around at the people. Okay, and I see noses poking out. I see like people pulling them down onto their chin, and they let them. They let them. The police officer says you have to wear a mask beyond this point. So they had them. They had them, but they're not wearing them. They're not, and they're going to half-ass it. And that's my real concern. No matter what mandates you put into place, okay, you're trying to force an unbelievable amount of people to do one thing. And just as it sounds simple, but try.
What are they going to do in New York if people are just like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore?
No. Well,
what's it, 8 million people in New York?
Well, listen, prohibition, guys. Listen, you go back in history. I want prohibition. You couldn't drink alcohol; it was outlawed.
We just ended the weed prohibition in New Jersey.
Yeah, they created speakeasies.
Listen,
stuff.
They did. It was 14 years. 14 years. And nobody listened to it. Let me just digress for a minute. When we talk about the ships, so it was what happened with that, how that came about, and I can tell you, my sister is in does military contracts. So she was in Guantanamo Bay, and then she was in Hawaii, and she's still in Hawaii now. But this is before when Trump was still president, when they shut the country down because they needed to. I mean, we had this virus. Everything stopped. So all of these ships just sat there, and they sat there because everything shut down. Nothing was moving. You couldn't drive. I couldn't treat patients. I couldn't operate on patients. You remember those days? Yeah. I mean, it was pretty. So those ships sat there and sat there and sat there. Now, you got to remember, when Trump, 2020 election, we were moving into a very good position. Economy was coming around. Trump didn't win. 80 million people voted for Biden, supposedly. So now, so all of a sudden, so now, whether or not it would have happened or not, but the economy is still not coming around, and these ships are still sitting there, a lot of them. Yeah. And you can make a lot of arguments why: supply chains, not enough workers. I could tell you,
and it's not just the East Coast; it's the West Coast
my
too.
Sister, she sent me a picture of all of these ships off of California. That's my point I was getting at. And she showed me that even before Biden. So that's been an ongoing thing. What I think the real problem here is that this administration is unable to, or maybe, it's not happening, getting this economy going.
Mm.
You know, it's not, and that's a big part of the
See,
problem.
but what it's really doing, and this is the very real danger, and it's in every neighborhood, it's in every town. It's going to be putting out these small businesses, these mom and pop businesses. They're not going to be able to get the stock that the people are going to demand.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be going out of business. And then there's not going to be any more mom and pops because of it. And that's a sin. And so now, and I'm going to say this to everybody out there. I say it on a lot of my shows. Go visit your local businesses, you know, your mom and pop places. Don't go to Lowe's, don't go to Home Depot. Find a local hardware store, or just look about. These people need our help. They have always been
Right,
the backbone of our country. Let's save that.
Powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah, well,
I was driving through Jackson this weekend.
I goosed a girl in elementary school, so I don't even know if I can run for congressman now. Yeah.
It's a dangerous place to admit that.
Yeah.
I was driving through Jackson this weekend, and I noticed there's this place on 571. It's called Art and Kathy's Kitchen, and it's been closed for like 10 years. And I noticed on the like the front of the building, it said it was like founded in like 1838 or something.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
like one McDonald's pops up and
I
all those places are gone.
have a client. He owns the Taylor Hardware in Belmar, and this little hardware store has been there for about 130 years, and they have built most of what's in Belmar. The tools in some way or whatever came out of this place. But imagine an institution like that leaving your neighborhood. When people go to a place like Taylor Hardware and the owner's Joe, they all know him by name, and he knows everybody in the neighborhood by name. And that's something you will never get at these big, giant corporate, like Walmart, or Target and stuff. You're not going to get anybody who knows your name. You're not going to get anybody who knows your kids, or knows what you're up to, what kind of projects are you working on. I mean, and that is priceless. It's absolutely priceless, and it's endangered right now because of all of this foolishness. Biden's answer to all of these shipping, these what do you call it? Shipping ships out there, whatever. Shipping container ships out there. All he said was, but you got to look at the bigger picture. And that was it. And like, well, what's the bigger picture? That the people are unemployed? People are unhappy? If people need jobs, go down to the docks, get a job. They're all waiting.
I'm not going to do that. It's not work. It's hard work.
It's hard work, but hey.
Look at the docks.
Well, listen,
those soft hands in salt water all the time.
No, those are very hardworking people.
So
I think they get paid pretty well too.
Yeah. So let's just bring back to this, because
go ahead.
With the coronavirus, because I want to talk about medicine a little bit. So I wanted to touch base on one other subject, and this is the mandates. And we talked about this multiple times on our shows about the mask mandates, about the vaccine mandates.
I don't even like the word mandate.
No. So one
it's got a negative connotation.
Right.
For sure.
So here's the thing. Mandates, we shouldn't have mandates in this United States, number one. Number two is they're counterproductive economically, I think, because we're talking about Southwestern Airlines, whether or not, there's a slowdown. We have these ships out there. So I think mandates are adding to the problem. And I don't think it's a wise thing to do for that reason. Also, so many people have been vaccinated, and if you add on the people who have had the virus already, we're hitting herd immunity. We're there already. So and if you look at go on to the CDC, I was looking at the death rates, the chart. It's plummeting for October. It's going down. It's going down really far. So I think it's over. And hopefully we won't have a rebound.
Right.
So we'll see. Because it's just like the 1918. If history repeats itself, this should be all done. We should be coming, one thing I got to say about Fauci, he's wrong many times, but he was right on this one. Remember in the beginning, he said it's probably a couple of years. I thought we were done this summer. In fact,
but at the beginning, Fauci also said There's no way there'll be mandates. We couldn't possibly mandate
way in
this
the beginning.
to people.
Way in the beginning,
Just stop lying to our faces.
No,
That's all I ask.
Way back in the beginning, he said there's nothing to worry about. This is not going to manifest into a big problem. That just go when you say we don't know. Again, how much is their ignorance? How much? I think that I've seen, and I think a lot of times there's a combination of arrogance
and design.
No, arrogance and stupidity. And no.
See, and I say also design, because if there's
but Fauci typifies, I think, a lot of these elites where, they're going to tell us how to live. They know what's better, and especially when you listen to Hillary, one of the things that turned me off about her, that she's in my opinion, a leftist, communist, socialist, was that she said we're deplorables. She used the word deplorables, and I think that what this mandate shows is, listen, I got the vaccine, I got the booster. I don't need anybody telling me I need it or don't need it. I make the decision, and I think that if you look at the CDC, all these people who got the vaccine, 95% of the old people got it. They know because they were told, hey, you're at risk. 95% of the seniors in this country are fully vaccinated. And who's the highest risk? The seniors. So, we will do the right thing, but now that then this is the quintessential, attitude. We're going to save everybody, and damn the torpedoes, and so.
Yeah, but in doing so,
you're killing this economy. Talk about killing the economy.
And in doing so, you're taking away the, my body, my choice. And now it's becoming my body, their choice. Right. And that doesn't sit well with so many people.
No. So let's go back with the school mandate, because I wanted to talk about this, because this is hot right now.
Yep.
There's people rebelling, and they're saying, no, I'm not going to get the vaccine. No, I'm not going to wear the mask. And when we talked about how effective masks are, we talked about how effective the vaccine is. We talked about herd immunity. So, in my opinion right now, we vote, and we were consistent on the show. If you're at high risk, you're 40 or above, you should get the vaccine. And most people have. Going to school with the kids is the next challenge. I want to see the statistics. I want to see the literature. And I look at the CDC, and I want them to show me the studies that show that this is safe for a 5-month-old baby or a 10-year-old child. And I don't see them yet, and maybe they're going to be there. The other thing is what risk they are. And again, if they're high risk, or they have the potential to get really sick, and the risk are very low, then absolutely I'll buy into that. The other thing is masks in these schools. It's a joke. They, like you said, they don't wear them right. The kids touch their face. And here's the thing: coronavirus or any virus is passed. It's not just inhaled and it goes in the air. It gets on surfaces. Kids play with the, so you got these 8-year-olds, they're playing with, dolls and blocks and whatever. The other kid touches it, unless the teacher walks around and cleans everything right after them. Right. It's stupid. And it's a waste of time.
When I went to that Board of Education meeting, and it was pretty much a rubber stamp vote, except for 2 people.
What was the vote? Tell everybody what was
the vote. The vote was for mask mandates and vaccine mandates. Right. What I found very odd was that they voted first and then asked for our opinion. Doesn't seem right?
Yeah.
So they vote first.
You know what that means?
They vote first, and then they ask the parents what they think. Right.
So there's a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. So 2 people were brave enough to stand up and say it was wrong. One person was an absolute coward and said, "I vote no, but with reservation."
Yeah.
Give me a break. And that one that said no, but with reservations, I was looking at her.
2 masks on, right? She had 2 masks.
No. She had 1 mask on. She had 1 mask, but the entire time she was playing with it, and until she pulled it so far away from her face that it kind of arched on each side of her cheek. So there was a clear passage of air coming in and out. We're still breathing in what's in your mouth. That mask is now useless. Yeah. Say there's put it on Tyler.
Yeah.
There you go. And again, also, the one thing I didn't like, and I just want to say this, was that people, your voice is going to be deeper now.
Let's see. How does it sound? They gave me this at the coffee shop I like in Montclair.
Did they really?
They have a nice little sign outside. It says, sorry for our mask mandate, but we have some autoimmune compromised employees, and we'd like you guys to wear them out.
Oh, see, that's a nice way to say it.
I am fine with that.
Fine with that.
know?
Yeah. The one thing I didn't like about the
And they were handing out the masks.
Yeah. The Board of Education meeting is everybody was thanking them for volunteering. And the thing is that they're not there for the parents. They're not even there for the kids. They didn't volunteer out of some altruistic sort of feeling. They're volunteering for the school system and more directly to Governor Murphy, who is placing these following, Biden's request to place these mandates in to begin with. So they're not there for you at all.
No.
And because you spoke out, any of those people that were told to speak their mind, they're told that, are now being called domestic terrorists. And that's sinful.
Right.
Because they practice their right of freedom of speech. They are domestic terrorists. That is criminal. It's un-American. It's against the Constitution. And it makes you wonder, what world are we living in right now?
Right. Well, the one thing that you made is an interesting point, Tyler, is the other side talks about like this deli or coffee shop.
Yeah.
They say, listen, we have a compromised patient.
Paper Plane in Montclair, New Jersey.
What's that?
Paper Plane.
Okay.
Coffee company.
So here's the interesting
check
thing
it out.
about that. So that's why I get the argument on the other side. They're going, hey, doc, we have compromised patients in here or people who work here. So we're going to recommend a mask.
That just got you one free latte.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
So
Let's hope, right? Free press.
But let's just think about the medical from a medical standpoint about that. Well, first of all,
They won't hear
it's no, they may, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to criticize them. I think do they have the right, to do that? So let's just say that they have a protocol. What if let's talk about another shop. Say we have a shop and I don't want you in there because you have a beard. I don't like people who have beards.
Yeah, they have the right not to serve you on pretty much anything.
Or what if you're black? I don't want to serve you if you're black.
That's
I don't have
racist.
the right. Okay,
You're raising it, but they could
I
not
could-
serve somebody because they weren't wearing shoes.
What if you're not wearing your hat wrong? What if you look funny? What if you're Jewish? What if you're
It's a private business.
What if I'm a baker and I don't want to make your cake because you're having a gay wedding?
See, Mike,
So
that used to
wasn't
be a thing,
wait.
but now, it was a couple months back. I remember seeing a news report, and it was this old man. He ran a toy store. Okay. And he had a sign up there. I think it was like a cardboard cutout of somebody. I think it might've been, I think it was Donald Trump. And there was a little voice bubble, taped to him about, personal pronouns, which I'm not going to bring up, but, my point is though, is they banged that guy hard for it.
Yeah.
And so, it used to be that you can withhold service to anybody just on any feeling you like.
You can't. You can't.
I mean,
let me get back to Tyler. My point I was going to make is this: they have the right to. This is it's a weird situation because there's this virus out there. I'm just and what do you have? You have, if you have the vaccine and you don't have symptoms, you have to wear the mask. So they can mandate it there. But do you see what I'm saying? There's a level, it lends itself to abusement. If you start saying, I could, if you don't wear the mask, I won't serve you. Okay. What if you don't wear the mask and you go in there and you demand, I want to be served. So what's the difference between, I guess another way to look at it, that you have the mask on and you can say, okay, you could hurt one of my employees, but then I let's say you're gay and my employee is Christian and that offends him and it triggers him and he gets emotional or whatever. I'm not kidding around. I mean, there's people who talk about
it's a fine line. It's a weird, nuanced kind of topic.
Well,
there has to be a line to draw somewhere.
Well, I just want
like Sean said.
Yeah, but all
if you
this
walk in without
about me.
shoes,
Yeah.
wear shoes in my store.
But let me make a point now.
no shoes,
governor-
no shirt, no service.
Uh-huh.
But listen to this. I just heard it on the news a couple of hours ago. The governor of Texas passed a executive order.
Texas.
You
You sounded like our former president when you said
Texas. Listen to me. Texas. they just passed an executive order. You cannot mandate people to wear a mask in a business. So in other words, if you own a coffee shop,
is the government of Texas allowed to mandate that businesses aren't allowed to mandate
Yeah.
things?
Well, that's what they're doing. They did
I'm
it. They
really
just did it.
surprised. I'm
They
really
just did it. They
surprised he
just did
said
it.
that, considering
Yeah,
what
they
the
just did it.
troubles they're having at the border, because they have tons of people down
What
there.
trouble they have at the border, Jeremy?
Oh, you haven't heard?
No,
Wait, there's
I
a-
didn't know
there's a-
there was
there's
a border trouble?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought
No,
we had
you
open
didn't-
borders. What trouble is there?
Yeah, no,
you can
no.
come in.
Remember that
No,
wall?
according to the
There-
White House, if
there's
you
no
ask
trouble.
them,
You can
there's
come
no
in.
border crisis.
There's
Yeah,
no
there's
because
no
everybody's
border.
Never has
How
been.
can
That's
it be a-
right, yeah.
Listen, if you could let everybody in, then it's all solved. How do you fix the problem?
I don't know.
Just let everybody in.
Maybe I
Let
saw it in a
everyone, let
movie.
everyone pay
yeah.
taxes.
Maybe I saw it in a
No,
movie.
no,
Who
no,
knows?
no, no.
You know.
No. Listen, they
That's
come.
my solution.
They come in this country. They're not going to pay. No. Well, anyway.
Oh, please.
But so
They're not going to
so,
pay taxes. Jesus.
It's
So-
so simple, guys.
But here's the thing. What if now the governor of New Jersey, let's put the other shoe on the other foot. The governor of New Jersey mandates that no business could mandate you need a mask,
I'm going to Canada.
or you can't go to Texas. I'm
Like,
just
wait,
saying.
that you don't
so-
need a
so-
mask?
No, well, that's what
I'm going to
governor-
Canada,
that's
where it's
what-
probably worse.
That's what the governor of Texas just did. He just said you cannot. We're putting you. It's against the law. Executive order. You cannot not treat somebody if they
Yeah, but you
won't
know-
wear a mask.
you
You
know-
can't mandate that somebody has to wear a mask to get services.
But federally, can he do that?
It's not federal. It's
No,
state.
no, above him.
Well, listen. What'll happen is a judge just like with the abortion law with the heartbeat, a judge could come in, which is another branch of the government, which is your judicial, and they could put an injunction, and it could stop, and then they'll appeal it, and then it could go to the Supreme Court. I mean, that's how this country works. And what I'm just saying is that a lot of things that are happening now are going to shake out over time. Some of the things are unconstitutional.
That same governor is also finishing the wall. He's taking it into his own hands. Texas is going because they have no faith in Biden and his administration. So they're going to finish the wall because of the troubles that they're having.
Is a
down
wall
there.
really going to work?
It
Well,
was.
ask China.
It
Listen,
was.
wait,
It was going to work
It was
until.
Just say ask China.
Wait.
Yeah.
They have the Great Wall of China. They built it.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
great
I mean,
example.
All right, but that was also winding through mountains
walls-
and really
walls-
difficult, rough
listen,
terrain.
listen,
that
with
people
bows
probably
and
aren't crossing
arrows and
anyway.
not.
Listen,
Yeah.
Listen, I can
we
tell
need
you
Most
right
of
now,
the
to
advanced war
build
technology that was a
such a
trebuchet.
wall that
Walls
could be
work.
seen from
Trust me.
space.
walls work.
You know, that kind of thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
just like the wheel. Like walls work though. but-
Electrify it, and nobody's crossing.
They'll find out. They'll swim around it. Somehow.
Electrify it
Yeah,
and
well,
dig it like 30
being
feet
wide
deep
open,
also.
being wide open as our border is down there, Haiti is opening up their prisons and saying, "Go to America."
So let me.
So-
I'm gonna
Like,
throw
are there
you-
spots where you can literally just
walk through?
walk across?
Here's
Yeah.
here's the thing too.
Yeah.
Because, and the government's thought about that is, well, we're pretty sure they don't plan to stay long.
Oh,
Swear to God,
come visit.
swear to God, you can't make it up.
We should leave travel brochures all along the border.
All right, we're going to end the show soon, but let me.
Come
I'm
to
gonna
El
tell you,
Paso.
I'll tell you what. In state New Jersey, let me see. Last January, they passed. Maybe it was the January before that. They passed and this is the legislator in New Jersey. So this is law. If you're illegal individual in this country, illegal alien. Well, they don't call them that. I don't know what they call them. Undocumented, whatever. You're not a United States citizen. You are not a United States citizen. And in fact, you're illegally in this country. Okay. You could get a license to be a plumber, to be a doctor, to be whatever. Now, it was a good idea. They had these people who would study in our schools in New Jersey.
It does sound like a good idea.
Oh, really? Without,
That to me, that sounds like a good idea.
Stop for 1 second. Let me just tell you why though. So they studied here and they couldn't get a visa, and so they couldn't work here and they had to go back to their country. But what you talk about a wall, one way to prevent or one way to encourage people to come here is to say, you get here illegally, no matter what, you come to New Jersey, you could become a doctor, lawyer, whatever, plumber, because we'll give you a license. That's not smart in my opinion. Because we need to have immigration, but it needs to be legal. But why do you say?
Yeah, I want to
Why do you say? Well, I want to hear this. Why do you say that it's a good idea?
This is a country built by immigrants.
Yeah, legal immigrants.
They're coming here anyway. They're coming here anyway.
No, what do you mean they're coming?
What do
here
you mean
anyway?
legal? This country wasn't started by legal immigrants.
Yeah, it was.
What is it? Ellis Island?
My grandfather came here from Russia. He was brought in by Standard Oil.
After the people that came and just like genocided an entire country of natives.
Yeah, You're right about that.
in Russia, but they still
you just
came
keep
here.
going back. People are killing people and taking their land.
But I mean, that's why that whole debate yesterday about Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day.
It's Indigenous Peoples Day. Columbus was
So let me ask you
because we're not working really fast to get that country or give this country back to them, are we? No.
Well, but this is my point. You can't be like, oh, they're illegal immigrants. It's just I think that if you give them a pathway to contribute to our culture and society, that's better than doing nothing.
Yeah,
you open a door, somebody's going to walk through it.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, Tyler. I understand where you're coming from, but there's a limit of assimilation. If you look at Europe, okay, they had the EU. They let, say, in England, for example, there was open borders. They had a rush of Polish people, mostly men, looking for work and medical care. It killed their economy. They had a ton of Muslims, and we're not criticizing Muslims, but they don't. You know, in England, they had so many pubs. Their pubs are all closed down now because they don't drink. They don't drink alcohol. It changes the flavor and the flair. I think that
England also had a flood of Croatians running there too. I mean, so they had everybody.
There is consequences to open border. Here's the thing. I agree with you and disagree. I agree that what do you call it? Immigration is needed. We probably need 2 to 4 million people in this country. I think the immigration should be merit-based, and it should be people who come in legally. They apply. We let them come in and, have specific jobs and things like that. You have a border that's wide open. You're going to get criminals coming in. You're going to get people who maybe are not desirable. And I'll tell you, I dealt with, back in the day, I remember during the Barack Obama years, there was a huge amount of people coming in, even before that. And I would treat these people in the hospitals, and because I'd see them in the ER. They had a 3rd grade education, maybe, from where they came from. They didn't speak English at all, couldn't write it. In fact, couldn't speak Spanish that well, and couldn't write Spanish because they were illiterate. So, how many people can we handle like that? How many people, it's one thing about letting scientists in here, letting, people who are really sharp. And a lot of these people could rise to the occasion. I agree with you. But you cannot, in my opinion, have open borders. It will overwhelm our system. Right now, if you have 2 million people coming in this country, they're going to go to your schools. They're not going to speak English. You're going to have to hire more teachers. You say, well, that's good.
Well, maybe all our kids should speak Spanish. We're one of the only countries in the world that isn't like straight up bilingual. Canada is, for the most part.
Yeah. Well,
pretty much everywhere in Europe.
Well, you could teach the kids here, but again, good luck with that. If you look at the school district in Baltimore, Maryland, 75% of kids can't even graduate high school.
Well, that's that run. Then if we're looking at that, the problems run a lot deeper than illegal immigration.
Exactly. So
our entire education system is a disaster.
So you and a lot of inner city schools are tough. I mean, you could go. We got to cut this short. But we could go into a whole cascade.
No, but he's got his head on straight. I like what he was saying. Yeah, he's right.
This is
everywhere you go in Europe, they speak English. And they're catering to us, and you have people running around here, and someone tries to speak to them in broken English, and they call them an idiot.
See, but if you're going to open up your borders, you need to have a plan, and right now it doesn't look like there is one.
Oh no.
Yeah. But what you were talking about with hope and with ideas, and that is not what's happening down there now. And if someone like you were in charge, we'd be in a better place than we are right now.
Yeah, there's no room for someone with a good heart and position of power.
I'll make your point about English and everything. First of all, the worldwide language was established, says English. It might be China in the near future. But here's the thing where
China
2025.
Right. Little digs at China.
But I'll make it a point about language. So I get a patient who I see in the emergency room, speaks no English. And I trying to get a history from him or her. It's impossible. By law, we're not supposed to use one of their family members because it could be corrupt. They may not give the information. So you got to get an interpreter.
They have pretty good translation software these days.
We do. But you got to get on the phone. It takes time. It delays things. And there's a lot of things that are missed in the communication. It creates a really big problem all the way across the board. What's interesting, I have to make sure that I bring to bear, if I treat a patient, translation. But if you go to court, so you get pulled over for speeding and you don't speak English and you go to court, the judge don't give a rat's. They don't care. Bring somebody who could speak to you and you're going to go to jail. So, there's a lot of whole different things, but it puts a burden on the system. Here's the other thing I would say, Tyler, with regard to open borders or how many people, there's a certain amount of people that the system could handle and assimilate. We would like to, my grandfather, when he came here, he spoke Russian. My grandmother, she was born here, but she spoke fluent Polish. And I remember I spoke Polish. I don't remember it anymore, but they encouraged us not to speak Polish because they said, you're in America, speak America, speak American. And
speak American.
American, right. But we became what's the
We
word?
originated the language.
We became assimilated. There's something to be said about assimilation but the Polish, the German, the Russian, Irish, everybody brought a flair, brought their own goodness to this country. So I think immigration is very important. Like I said, I'm a grandson of an immigrant, but I think though there's a big difference between legal immigration and illegal immigration. And I think that's where we differ. I agree with immigration, but I don't agree with illegal immigration for some of the reasons I mentioned. And I want to hear from Sean. He don't talk. What do you think, Sean? Tell me, what do you think about immigration? And then we'll end this conversation. But I want to, because it impacts medicine, impacts me. This is a medical show. These people come here. They have a lot of diseases. Not because they didn't have a lot of good medical care there, and the school system. So should there be? Are you for open borders or modified borders? Like, I'm not modified immigration.
I think we got a lot of problems in this country right now, and more people doesn't necessarily mean more solutions.
So you're not
the border right now is a mess, but immigrants definitely help too. They want jobs. They want to work at the docks, as we were talking about before. They want to make money.
Let them in. Let them work at the docks.
There you go.
No, but not everyone that's
Tyler,
coming
so
in
let him hire him so you can have him clean your cut your lawn, right?
Cheap labor.
Whoa. I cut my own lawn. I cut my own lawn,
Whoa.
first of all.
All right.
And I cut the derelict house next to mine's lawn every week.
All right. Well, listen, we
Town should be doing that.
We're not going to stop. So listen, I'm Dr. Michael Kachmar. This is Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar. We had some great guests. So this is our first time. We kind of freelance today, talking about all kinds of stuff. We're just testing out the equipment, and we'll see how it is. And so bear with us if the quality of the audio or the video wasn't up to speed. The content, I can't. I'm only responsible for 1/4 of it today.
I had a ball. Are you kidding? Yeah.
We have one viewer right now on YouTube. It's me.
Oh, good. So how does it look, by the way?
It looks good.
So we're gonna. How do you look on YouTube? There you are. You're famous. You're on YouTube.
Oh, there's like a
How's that?
significant delay.
Is there?
I mean, but that's fine.
Can you see
The people that are watching on YouTube?
Is there a delay?
We're getting
there is.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to work
way
on
off topic here.
We'll work on that. We kind of figured that. We're gonna have to figure out. We're gonna work on that. So that's why it's a good test one. Listen, we're gonna do another show right after this show, and we're gonna do a lifeguard show. So I'm gonna
lifeguarding with Dr. Michael Kachmar is coming up next. So on all the platforms you're watching us now, just stay on, and the show will start. In the meantime, if you want to learn more about Dr. Michael Kachmar, please go to JerseyShoreFootAndLegCenter.com. If you want to call to make an appointment, Doc, what's the number again?
732-269-1133.
And there you go.
And you can call. So listen, hopefully we'll do a show every week, and you can follow us on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We're on Twitch and Facebook. Live. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.
Be kind to each other.